Welcome everybody to Talladega Super Speedway. We're live here for the In the Pits News Truck Series for the MardonPC.com 200. I'm Joshua Coppernoll. I'm joined by Adam Kuhn. How you doing, Adam?
Doing good and excited to be here, of course, with you in the booth. Excited for a great night. Should be a fantastic race, and we're at Talladega, so always excited to see a race here. Always love the pack races, and especially with the trucks, should be an exciting show. And it's the regular season finale, Josh, so lot of at stake tonight.
It is the regular season finale. This is going to add even more intensity into already what Talladega normally is like. These drivers, you've got a bunch of them that are trying to earn their spot into the chase for a chance at a championship, and I believe you have caught up with one of them in Andrew Elias.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, Andrew, what's your plan for tonight? Just get right off the bat. Long race.
I
What do you?
had a plan to chill in the back, Adam, but I don't know. I'm so 50-50 on it. We'll just have to see what unfolds the first 10-15 laps, see if I go for stage points or what.
Absolutely. Earlier this week on the ITPN report, you kind of talked through a lot of different things and did a lot of different strategies. And then obviously you're still unsure. If you get a good qualifying one, that's obviously going to dictate it, right?
I'm not going to qualify, Adam. There's no way.
I figured that. So starting off in the back, that was just a joke, Andrew. I know you'll never qualify. But starting off in the back tonight, it's going to be a long, tall task in those first 24 laps. What do you have to expect getting up your way up to the front?
Uh, I expect there to be a lot of aggression just in these practice sessions alone. You've seen it a bit. We're just testing out the bump drafting really is sending guys a little more off than it has in the past, so I expect there to be quite a few incidents.
Well, hopefully we get to talk to you later and it's on the good side of the fence tonight.
Yeah, feel free to talk to me during green flag. I have no problem with it.
Absolutely, would love to. So have a good race tonight and stay safe, of course, out there.
All right, thanks, Adam and Josh.
Andrew Elias, who's currently trying to fight his way into that 8-man chase, Josh.
Yeah, and he is going to be our in-race reporter. I think that's actually kind of exciting. He's given us permission to talk to him under green flag conditions. Not something that'll a lot of drivers like to have, but Andrew has given us permission for that. Next one, I'd like to talk to this driver with number 45. Let's see if I can dial him up. Hey, Dalton. You got a copy? Dalton Kelly, it's Josh up the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
All right. It's Talladega. Tonight, the regular season ends, and the chase begins next week. So, what's it going to take for you to make the chase?
It's just going to take us just turning our team at lap one, just take care of it just early, and then just ride around and get to the end.
So, what's the strategy like for you? Are you, want to go stage points, or just try to be there for the end?
Just be there for the end and see what we got to do. So with these races, it's pretty much if you get to the end, you got a top 5 easy. So if we can just get there, we're going to have a shot at the win if we're mostly clean.
Going back to the previous ITPN plate races at Daytona and Talladega, what are you expecting based off, what's happened in the past at these kind of races?
Just kind of expecting a couple wrecks here and there, probably a small field towards the end where we're just, it's the few that have survived the race, just going for the win and duking it out.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Maybe we'll talk to you a little bit later on in the race. and see if you make the chase.
Thank you.
And that was Dalton Kelly, driver of the number 45. Dalton, he's been real consistent this year in the races he's done. It's pretty good finishes. Not been able to close one in yet, but he's sitting P1 on the practice charts right now, Adam. I think he's got a really good shot tonight to solidify his chase entry with a win tonight.
Absolutely. He's had a lot of strong runs, like you mentioned. 8 straight top 10 finishes in the league. That streak snapped last week when he didn't show up at Indy Raceway Park, but it's still a personal record of his going right now. He's hoping to keep it going strong. A lot of momentum his way, and he's got a lot of top 5s in those runs. And he finished 6th at Daytona to start off the season. That was a very chaotic finish.
Well, next up, another guy that need to talk to. I don't think he'll be eating chips during this one, Adam, but I think you've got a copy with Brett Bennett.
I do have a copy.
Well, hey, Brett, we see you out here right now on track with Michael Krueger, just practicing tandems right now. What do you have for a plan right now into tonight's race, trying to make that chase?
Well, entering this practice session, my plan was to try to get stage points, but the way this is going, I'm starting to think riding in the back is going to be the right call. Just people being super aggressive, and if they're like this in the race, it's not going to last.
So obviously you're in a different situation than the rest of the guys. Right now you hold a wild card position. If some random winner wins tonight, they could sneak in. Does that change the strategy if some notable driver up there is leading up front throughout midway?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's not many people. Like, I think McCurry's the main one who would be a threat of stealing that position with the win. And still, with Probst not running, there's a very good chance that whoever's the top points man out of me, Dalton, and Andrew probably gets in anyway. So I think it's still just going to be maximizing points as much as we can.
Well, thanks for your time and good luck tonight, of course. We'll hopefully talk to you later tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Yep. Hopefully.
But Bennett, hopefully his night goes smoother than that. Very rough pit entry there in the final 20 minutes of practice.
Yeah, practice really, it's pretty interesting at these tracks because you got those drivers that, want to do a pit party, as they call them, where everybody is, exits out of pit row together and they kind of draft practice together. And I've noticed a lot of times do pit parties, as I've been a part of many of them on iRacing, is there's always things that you're trying, things that other people are trying. What's going to work? What's not going to work? How much can I get the draft by trying things out? How much can I lay back? So you could see pure chaos in practices and a little bit things calmer in races. Now, I did just say calm, and we're at Talladega, and so far, 17 drivers have taken a practice time. We have more in the practice session itself. We're trending to pretty close to 20 drivers tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we see a bigger field. We have a lot of people interested in this race, with it being the last race in the regular season. All hell can break loose and some random guy can come home with the win and kind of just steal the show. We saw it last season, right towards the end of the year. Tyler Watermullins got his first career win. Really chaotic race that was. There were very few trucks remaining, and I believe it went into overtime, about 2 or 3 of them, as we see a pit party here leaving pit road. A lot of drivers involved in this one. You see Michael Krueger and Alonso Chicano hooked up early. See how this forms off in the next couple minutes.
speaking of Michael Krueger, I want to go ahead and bring him in. He did win at Daytona earlier in the season, and of course Daytona is a lot like Talladega. So I want to go ahead and bring in Michael Krueger, get his perspective on how this is going to go. Hey, Michael, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha, Josh.
All right, hey, you won at Daytona earlier in the season to kick things off. We're here at Talladega, a track that is very, very similar to Daytona. Anything can happen. What's it going to take to sweep the plate races in that 42 machine?
Well, to me, Josh, I'm thinking the key to being there and winning is to survive. Survive all the carnage and chaos of whatever happens this race and just be there at the end.
Surviving is something that definitely did a great job at Daytona, and just surviving through that practice crash as we're talking to you. But we know the big story is, SBLD and who's all going to make the chase. You've been working with them a lot. We actually, Adam and I did a podcast earlier in the week that included SBLD and you as well. And it was really a debate of who is going to work with who. So have you decided if you're going to work with one or two or maybe all of them tonight?
I'll work with any of them. It just depends on who in the best situation who to work with. Really, I mean, it's really tricky working with them since they're all three fighting against each other. So, just for my strategy for working with them, I'm just gonna work with whoever is in the best situation I'm thinking they're in to work with, and also just while also working with them to be extra careful since this is an elimination race. Or not really elimination, but the finale. It's last thing I want to do is completely ruin their hopes by taking one of them out just by a bad push or something like that. So,
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go up in there and talk with, the drivers you'll be working with. And maybe we'll talk to you later on tonight.
yes, sir.
All right, good
Hope you
luck
guys
to you.
have fun watching this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was Michael Krueger, driver of the number 42 Chevrolet.
I'm excited to see what he can do tonight, Josh. He only ran 2 races last season in the Winter Series, one of them being this race, in which he did very great in my opinion. He unfortunately got caught up in a big one, not of his doing. Innocent bystander in that crash off of turn 4. But he was very aggressive, and he didn't really make a lot of friends, but he didn't really need to at the time, and he didn't really expect to come back to the league that often, and he showed his aggression, and he did a great job. I'm just curious to see how he's going to play it tonight with those guys, his friends he's trying to help out, and himself personally trying to fight for the regular season points.
Yeah, he's done a great job this season, absolutely. Of course, winning at Daytona, start off the season. Got signed by a team just after that. Almost won at Auto Club to prove that his Daytona win was no fluke. Got moved out of the way by his then teammate in the last corner. He's been consistent all season long. Of course, then taking the win at Dover as well. He has been absolutely on fire as of late.
Absolutely, he's been strong all season. He probably should have a couple more wins to his name also, because he's just been up front almost every week, and he's shown a lot of speed. He's led a lot of laps, and for a rookie, he's been pretty much class of the field since his teammate Joseph Lester had to unfortunately leave the league due to work obligations. And those two were going to go at it all the way down to the wire, I believe. And he's now shown that he's been not a rookie driver the way he races all season, Josh. And he's ready to get those stripes off, and what better way with a cup?
100%. Those rookie stripes, of course, signifying you're a rookie, and he wants to get those off, and he wants to join Mr. Caldwell as being the only driver with the championship here.
So Josh, well, we have about 10 minutes before qualifying starts. How about we kind of break down the way the points are sitting right now between the playoff bubble drivers and those racing for the regular season championship?
Yeah, that is a great idea. Currently, leading our points is Alonso Chicano, 438 points on the season. Cameron Caldwell behind him with 421. So if Caldwell wants to win the regular season championship, he's got a ways to go to pick up enough points to do so. Now these drivers, they do have a drop week where one of your races does not count against you. So something interesting about that for the season and the points.
Yeah, Cameron's 17 points behind, so it's going to be a long task for him if Alonso and he both make it to the end of the race, but we saw both of them crash out last season. If Cameron sits back all race and lets Alonso wreck out like he did leading last year, it could be enough points for him to net gain it and swing it back and make a close race.
For the drivers that are trying to make the chase, top 6 in points make it in. Then you have 2 that are in the top 14 that have a win. The only one that is locked in because of that is Carl Felver, with 3 wins on the season, currently sitting in 11th in points. So currently, that would put Justin Duran out, and Felver in that spot.
Yeah, Zach Probst, who's not racing tonight, he's got a 25-point advantage, which might not be enough to keep it in this top 6 you mentioned, Josh. And then Justin Duran, he's got a 22-point buffer, and then Brett Bennett just 1 point above Dalton Kelly, and Andrew Elias 3 back.
Yeah, and for Brett Bennett, Dalton Kelly, and Andrew Elias, the reason we're mainly talking about them is because all 3 of them are running tonight. They are all teammates. It is going to be so hard for those 3 teammates to try to work together, and knowing that they could easily not make the chase.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be a really tall task for all 3 of them to make it. It's probably not going to happen. They're going to have a lot of luck go their way, and the odds are not towards their favor at all. One of them's going to make it, if not 2 of them missing out. Excuse me. So it could be, and like I mentioned before, if we have a wild card winner, not many drivers are eligible to do it. Noah Mayer is one of the few that could steal a win and sneak in.
Yeah, 100%. Currently, Mary is sitting 8th in the practice charts. About 0.6 of a second behind, but Talladega really doesn't matter. Mary, we know he's a fast driver. See if he's able to try and do some, get himself into the chase. The list of drivers in this race is continuing to grow. We have Tyler Watermullen, last season's winner here at Talladega, as Adam mentioned earlier in the show. Tyler has joined. We have, some drivers that haven't really ran too much this season, like Kyle Reuter racing tonight. We got Craig Fryer out there as well. A lot of drivers tonight.
Yeah, and of course we always say these plate tracks are the great equalizers, and these guys who don't race week to week, they can't really keep up with the setups, can't keep up to the different tracks that run opposed to NIS weeks, different schedules, the real life schedules, of course, tracks that, leagues that imitate that. So some of them just come out here because they know it's the great equalizer. You don't need much practice to race at Talladega. Just hop in the server real quick and have fun.
Well, I want to go ahead and interview somebody here, and this is more as a admin's interview than a driver interview. So, Cam, first of all, we're here at Talladega. We finally made it to the last race of the regular season before the chase starts. There's so much drama going into this race as far as points. Who's going to get in? Who's not going to make it? Of course, we got the likes of Zach Probst not even being here tonight, and he still has a chance to make it. Is this the kind of drama that you wanted when making the schedule?
I think this is exactly what we were looking for and then some, honestly. I'm very excited as the league owner to see how this plays out. Hoping it's a clean race for those who are, in the hunt for the last few spots, but overall, I think this is exactly what we wanted. We kind of hyped this race up as much as we possibly could because we knew there was going to be some drama. And, you have those 3 or 4 guys around the bubble who can make it in on points, and then you have those few guys behind them in points who can't point the way in, but if they win the race, then they're in the playoffs anyway. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens tonight. I'll be doing my best to kind of follow the points along as I go, since I have nothing to race for really in terms of, trying to get into the chase because I'm already locked in. So it's going to be pretty fun. Just kind of sit back, relax as much as you can at a race at Talladega, and hope we get a good show for JCTV and those watching.
All right, well, good luck to you out there, and maybe we'll talk to you later on.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
That was Cameron Caldwell. Well, there was a little bit of error there that I just had, and that is small mistake, but I was given permission to show the season schedule for next season, and I will just pop back up in a second here. So it's already just up, but before we go into that, we are under a minute and a half, so I gotta ask you, Adam, who is your pick to win tonight?
Man, it's so difficult to pick, as it is every week, but this is just even more. I talked about it a few minutes ago. Anyone can almost win here. You have to be real good to know the draft, but could come down to luck. But I'm going to have to go with one of those bubble guys. I think he's going to be real strong tonight. He's due for a win, as was all of them, really. But I think Brett Bennett's going to come in clutch tonight. He's going to steal the show in really dramatic style, I think. Not really his fashion, but he's been real quiet, I think, leading up into this weekend as opposed to the other two. So I think he's trying to play the quiet way in. But he wasn't quiet the other night when he was eating chips during the podcast, as we mentioned earlier. But I forgive him.
Well, I am so glad you did not go with my pick. I was kind of worried, especially when you said you were going to go with one of those bubble guys. You know, I think a guy that's going to be super aggressive tonight, wanting to get that win, get that monkey off of his shoulders, it's going to be Andrew Elias. And what better way to guarantee your spot in the chase than to win a race? And I think Andrew Elias is going to be that guy tonight to get that win.
He was going to be my other pick, by the way, just to put that out there. So I guess I'm glad I didn't take him from you.
JCTV qualifying starts. First one out on track is Brandon Havens. Very interested to see how Brandon is going to attack qualifying. This track, it's a lot different than a lot of drivers, than the preferred way to qualify at races. Normally, you know, you're up against the wall on the backstretch, and then a lot of times, you know, hit the apex in the corners. Talladega is different, and exactly as Brandon Havens is doing right there is what I would expect out of a driver to do in qualifying here, and that is to run the wall on your first lap. So I expect you to see Brandon Havens continue to run that wall all the way until the start-finish line next time by, not when he crosses it here in just a couple moments. And there he goes. Brandon Havens crosses the line. Stays right up there. As close as he feels comfortable to that wall. I remember one time I was told to try to hold it more to that dashed line than to try to run the wall, because if you're up against that wall, you're probably going to hit it if you're not even paying attention to that dashed line. And so I'm not sure if that's what Brandon Havens is doing. It really looks like he's keeping his left sides right there with that dash line. It's working out well for him because he's not getting right up there, right to that wall to brush the wall. And that would invalidate his lap. Going down to the bottom, Brandon Havens, so far, is a 56.8.
Good to see him back tonight in the league. Got 3 series starts. See what he can do tonight. Looking for his first top 10 finish.
Now here's one of the bubble guys, and of course your pick to win, Brett Bennett.
Yeah, and of course, rocking that down throwback scheme, of course, legendary. He's going to hope to see the air tonight, trying to weave his way and keep that 1-point advantage over his 2 teammates tonight.
Now, that was pretty interesting to me, and that was Brad Bennett. He went down to the middle lane through 1 and 2, and then back up to the top, and once again, going down that middle lane. Seen a lot of interesting ways to qualify here at Talladega. And it's really all where the driver feels comfortable at, too. The preferred way is like how we were talking about with Brandon Havens. Brad Bennett currently P7 on the board. 56.4.
Meanwhile, we see... Oh, excuse me, Josh. But
go ahead.
yeah, Alexander Kerfin leads the way over, just barely over. Now Dalton Kelly just jumped up there, as did Noah Mayuri. They both just jumped up to 2nd and 3rd. I was going to mention Justin Durand in 4th. We didn't expect him to really be in the running tonight for this playoff spot. He's been battling PC issues all week. And he was the Daytona pole winner, as we have a tie on the top of the boards now with Jeremy Richmond.
Brad Bennett coming across the line to complete his final lap. Brad jumps up to 7th. And our final qualifier, Alonso Chicano, to 10th with 8 seconds left in the JCTV qualifying session here. And Alonso Chicano not going to be able to improve his time. That wraps things up for qualifying. And now we go to our Mardon starting grid. On the pole is Alexander Kerfan. Jeremy Richmond to his outside, followed by Dalton Kelly, Noah Mayuri, and Justin Durand in the top 5. Adam?
Daytona race winner Michael Krueger starts outside of row 3 with Brett Bennett and Cameron Caldwell making up row number 4. And Brandon Havens is going to start 9th tonight with Alonso Chicano rounding out the top 10.
Starting in 11th is going to be Michael Walls. Craig Fryer to his outside, followed by Carl Felver and David Durand in row 7. And Brady Powers in the 22 machine.
Lining next to him is going to be Jonathan Parker in his series debut in the 81 truck. Kyle Lauder returns to the league in the 9. He starts in row number 9 next to the 75 of Jonathan Nance, also in his debut tonight. And then Andrew Elias and Caleb McCurry are going to round out the top 20 starting positions tonight.
You got Gary Sack, Tyler Watermullen, and Matthew Stotts rounding out the 23 truck grid. All right, real quick, as promised, there is the schedule for next season. See 2 different schedules there. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we start off the season September 3rd at Daytona, and 5-race chase starting January 21st at Chicagoland. Don't worry, you will see this again tonight, and as I mentioned we will show or explain the other schedule there. Tonight's stage is going to end at lap 24 in this 94-lap race. So from here to lap 24, it's going to be stage 1. And then after that is the final stage. Pace truck is going to make that hard left turn onto pit road. Kerfan's going to have to wait until he gets the green flag in order to start the race. And it is a long way to get that. These drivers are just waiting to be turned loose. Green flag is waving. We are underway at Talladega. Interesting start there. The bottom really didn't get going. Everybody on the top side has pretty much fanned down to the bottom now. Michael Krueger, who did start on the outside, went down to the inside, poking his nose out there.
Saw Normally step out of line from the top of the racetrack, and so did a couple other trucks that started on the inside lane once they got into the back straightaway. He was the back of the pack trying to fan out and just kind of ride right now. It was Andrew Elias, who we heard from in the pre-race show. He said he was going to chill out in the back, and that's right where he is right now. And got a couple guys right behind him, but he's just going to coast right now.
Kerfan does lead lap 1, but it was pretty close as Michael Krueger and Justin Duran went to the outside. They're fading back now. They don't really have any friends. So that inside line holding strong. Brett Bennett goes to the outside, trying to get to the point now.
While Elias is hanging out in the back, two of his rivals in the points are running second and third right now, with good friend Michael Krueger pushing one of them. That's not something he wants to hear later on.
And here's what I think is interesting about Andrew Elias' strategy is if something were to happen to Dalton Kelly and Brett Bennett here, is they're going to go 3 wide for the lead.
This is what Andrew Elias wanted to stay out of, pretty much. It's going to be close who leads this lap at the line. Could be valuable in points. It's going to be Brett Bennett with a huge push from Michael Krueger. That's a bonus point for that 47. So he's now got a 2-point advantage, of course, unofficially.
They are still 3 wide, now 2 wide, and Kerfan wants none of it. Neither does Brett Bennett. Bennett got the extra point. They both tuck out of line and hand the lead over to Michael Krueger. And look at Alonso Chicano, who just drove up to the top. I've said it time and time again, Adam. When it comes to these kind of races, Alonso Chicano reminds me so much of Joey Logano. He wants the front, and he's going to get the front. And look at Dalton Kelly. Now is in control of this race, and it is going to be Dalton Kelly to lead that lap.
Here comes Justin Duran on the outside with a push from his Vortex Racing teammate, Alonso Chicano. You mentioned Alonso, very aggressive. He's going to probably push Duran to let him lead a couple laps and then try and lead some for himself. As that outside lane kind of gets really strung out right now, that might be in jeopardy or in trouble for Duran and Chicano right now as the inside takes back a hold of the lead. Dalton Kelly and Michael Krueger pushing right now. Brandon Havens up in third in that lane.
Only 3 drivers on that outside trying to make something happen. It's going to be close at the line. If it's Durant or Kelly, I think Durant is going to lead that lap. So this just keeps getting more and more interesting. Durant goes down to the bottom in front of Kelly. Kelly kind of hesitated just a little bit, I think. Now Kelly's going to go to the top. Way up top. I think he went lot further up high than what he wanted to. And now Michael Krueger's going to find his way to leading that second line. I think that's what Dalton Kelly wants to do. Wasn't able to do it. And Krueger's going to clear himself on the bottom. Right back into the lead.
It's been very hairy with you seeing him blink out. He continues to blink out through the exit of the corner. Alonso Chicano is going to take huge benefit of that with a push on the outside from Jonathan Nance up there. And the 89 of Gary Sack now, teammates up there, up top behind Chicano, who's going to lead lap number 5. 5 different leaders so far, Josh, in the opening 5 laps.
And all 3 of the drivers that were on the outside was able to clear Krueger on the bottom. Now everybody's going to the top, leaving Alonso Chicano hung out to dry. Brandon Haven's going to come up to Alonso Chicano. Michael Krueger, once again, trying to lead a line here, get momentum. Krueger is pretty much on his own right here, and he has so much momentum going into the corner.
This is just such a game of chicken. Everyone wants to be in the back, but you can't be in the back if everyone's in the back, you know, Josh? Someone needs to be in the front, and no one wants to be there right now. Except Jonathan Nance and Gary Sack, who are going to clear Michael Krueger for the lead.
Yeah, it is a game of chicken. Who's going to get to the back fastest, and who's going to stay there? But look at Andrew Elias. He wanted to be in the back. He's currently running in the 3rd truck on that inside line, that bright yellow truck. I think he saw that his teammates and competitors led a lap. He wants to lead a lap as well to get that point.
And if the trend keeps continuing like this with a different leader almost every lap, if you can just lead just a couple more than the next guy, there you go. There's another bonus point for the most laps led bonus. It could be that close as we see Jonathan Parker looking to continue this lap leader trend, with a push from Michael Wallace, his teammate, on the outside through the tri-oval.
And Parker is going to lead that lap. This trend keeps continuing of new leader, new lap. And that outside lane has pretty much died down. You see everybody down onto the inside except the 81 and the 48.
Yeah, and since everyone's got single fire pretty much, it's going to hurt those 2 Jared Burgley Motorsports trucks, but now we see the 40 Brandon Havens jump out of line and try and lead that outside lane, try and regroup that momentum up top. See Jonathan Nance, he's going to try and straddle both lanes. He couldn't get it up there in time. Here comes Havens up front. We didn't have a new leader, but Havens got there just barely after the finish line.
Havens trying to hold on to the top spot on that outside lane. Couple trucks helping him out. Let's see if Havens is able to clear the lead and what he's able to do if he does get that lead clear. Meanwhile, once again, Andrew Elias, he is 3rd truck down on the inside lane. Wonder what Elias is going to do here.
Well, the best thing that Jonathan Nance right now has that he has a teammate, Silver Rock Racing 89, Gary Sack, the 3rd right there behind him, keeping him kept right there in line so no one can get around them both right now, and it's playing huge dividends as they both kind of drift up the track. Maybe they said they had enough of it, and that's going to give the inside clear for Andrew Elias with Michael Krueger right on his tailgate.
It seemed like the seas just parted for Andrew Elias as well.
Pretty much just did. It's a clear open trail for that 44 now with a push from the 42.
And I'm not so sure if Andrew Elias is going to have to worry here because he knows Krueger is a friend. He knows he can work with Krueger. I don't think Krueger is going to be aggressive here and allow Andrew Elias to lead this lap. And it appears that Krueger is staying down on the bottom here behind that 44 machine. Andrew Elias looks like he is going to get this lap led, as he does. So all three of our bubble drivers that we have talked about, the SBLD guys, Elias, Bennett, and Kelly, they have a lap led to their name. And nobody at the moment is challenging Andrew Elias for that lead. So Andrew, he said he was going to be in the back. I think he has a new strategy going on now, as he is in control of this race.
All four of them have led laps once you factor in Justin Duran in that 20 truck, but he's one of those who have dropped away towards the back of the field right now. He's in 13th, 2 seconds back. So he's tail end of this pack, and we have 3 or 4 guys who are 10 seconds back. Kyle Ruda, Craig Fryer, and Caldwell all back there.
Last season's winner, Tyler Watermullen, is hanging on. He is the last truck in this lead pack. And just see how long that pack really is. Tyler Watermullen, he would love to go back-to-back. And I heard, Adam, that SBLD only has, of all of their drivers, SBLD only has 1 league win in all the leagues they have ran. And that came from Tyler Watermullen in this race last season.
Yeah, it was such a huge win for him personally in this race last season you mentioned, and obviously the team, we didn't know that really at the time, and we didn't know that until recently when they kind of joked about that, but they really are due for a win, and wouldn't it be ironic if it was him again? He's been out the last couple weeks, non-threat really in the playoffs to talk the situation, so if all 3 of the full-time guys need a win tonight and it comes out being 68 again, I think that'd be a little twist of irony, but still well deserving for Tyler if you were able to do it tonight. And of course everyone on that team.
Yeah, and I think it would just, not only just be a twist of irony, but also just kind of funny. The fact that you've got 3 SBLD guys that, they're wanting a win to solidify their spot in the chase. And if a guy like Tyler Watermullen can steal the win, he's not going for a spot in the chase. He's just here to win a race. And I think, it would be not only bragging rights, but really just humorous as well for Tyler Watermullen to show up if he is able to win this race.
Well, going back up front, I'm talking about Andrew Elias as he continues to click off the laps, and he's led the most laps now tonight, which is only 4, but we are getting closer and closer, 11 laps to that end of that stage. When we talked to him pre-race, he said he didn't know what the plan was. He didn't know if he was going to go for stage points. He thought about riding in the back leading up into it, but he was indecisive. Here he is, controlling the pace. And if he stays here, I know it's a long way to go yet, but in position to score stage points right now. And that's big, because he's the only one of the 4, albeit Brett's just outside of it, but big advantage for him if he's able to stay up here. And continue to control the race, of course, Josh.
And you know what's interesting as well is Brett Bennett sitting in 7th place, like you just mentioned, just outside. Him and Alonso Chicano have had a lot of history between the two. And really it all kind of kicked off at a plate race just like this between Brett Bennett and Alonso Chicano. And also, if you remember from a few weeks ago at Charlotte Roval, who was one of the biggest rivalries we were talking about. That was 47-25.
Absolutely, as we see the Silver Rock guys back up top making a charge. It was a single file train around the double yellow line, but those 2 are going back at it. The Jonathan Nance and Gary Sack duo, and here comes Alonso Chicano to try and tail off that slipstream. They're going all the way to the front. They're going to challenge Elias for the lead, and they're going to take it in the try-over. Both of them going to clear him easily.
And here comes Alonso Chicano and Brett Bennett. Bennett sees his teammate up there. He does not want Elias to have the easy way out here. Bennett wants to have a say in how this race plays out. And Gary Sack going to go up high.
This is where we get into trouble, Josh. We got people blocking for others. Gary Sack tried to block in for...
We got a wreck!
And there it is. Brett Bennett's around.
Wow.
he's able to keep it going. The engine's not dead yet. He's able to keep it going after that big impact. Wow.
Oh, looks like Caldwell got hit as well in that. Little love tap for Caldwell, but go back up to this right here.
So he saw all that lead. He saw that lead change, and he's racing Elias now. Elias steps out of line on the back straightaway, and he just pulls in front of Brandon Havens and gets clipped, and big shunt to that safer barrier, Josh.
Man, that was a tough hit for Brett Bennett, and really just kind of an innocent bystander location. Very unfortunate for
Absolutely.
Brett Bennett, but he's not out of it. He's not out of it by any means.
A lot of damage right now, but like you mentioned, still going. There was a lot going on in a short span of time down the back straightaway there, and we were lucky we didn't get a bigger pileup. And like you mentioned, no casualties out of the race because of it. So very fortunate, and he was very fortunate. He didn't get T-boned when he was sitting broadside on the track like that. Very peculiar position, especially right into turn 3 like that. The apron's really not the best place to take your truck there in that corner.
Let's go ahead and talk to our in-race reporter. Hey, Andrew, it's boys up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Dubs.
All right. What a crazy start to this race. It seemed like there was a lot of drivers that were just wanting the lead, wanting to lead a lap. You were hanging out in the back. A couple of your teammates led a lap, and you worked your way up there. Was that part of the plan? All right, these guys got an extra point. I need to go up there as well, or what was the plan like there?
That was exactly the plan. I knew that they were gonna get that extra point, so I decided to go ahead and go for it. And then I was just relaxing, and I guess everybody decided to go a little bit crazy there. So I backed out at the perfect time, huh?
Yeah, I'll say you did back out, and then that accident happened just ahead. So, of course, the big one that was involved in that was Brett Bennett. Does that take off a little bit of pressure for you, or knowing that he's still got a chance at it? And, of course, the other guys that you're battling, is that still having a lot of pressure for you?
It takes off a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, Brett doesn't know how to let go of his push to talk in the race, so it's really a detriment to all of us.
All right, well, we'll let you get back up in there with your teammates, and maybe we'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, bud.
That was Andrew Elias, driver of the number 44 truck for SBLD.
Well, Josh, we saw a lot of different pit strategies there, a lot of shake-up in the field, and one thing I noticed on that pit stop was a lot of right-side damage on the 75 of Jonathan Nance. So he opted to repair it, and he's all the way at the back of the field with his teammate Gary Sachs. So it'll be very intriguing to see those two really new drivers in the league, but a lot of excitement tonight. See them coming back down. That's Brett Bennett coming back down pit road for damage repairs.
And you know, for Brett Bennett, he needs to keep his head in the game. He needs to stay in this race because he still has a chance, even with a beat-up truck. I'm not so sure he's going to have the speed to stay up there. Maybe if he has some drivers behind him, it's really going to help out his truck. Have some drivers behind him as well as in front, because I don't think he's going to be able to lead a lane. But for Brett Bennett, still there's a long way to go. We're going to go green with 75 laps to go here in this race. Anything can happen. He still has a chance to finish ahead of Dalton Kelly and Durand and Andrew Elias as well, if something were to happen to those drivers. So Brad Bennett, he needs to stay calm, stay in the game, and he could find himself with a chase spot before the night is over.
Yeah, obviously we don't know the extent to his damage, but pretty hard lick, but it doesn't look too bad. Obviously the front end is beat up a little bit, but he's come down pit road a couple times, so long way to go, like you mentioned, Josh. We're not even through the stage yet, so.
And this is pretty interesting. And the choose rule, which is in effect at Daytona and Talladega in the ITPN Truck Series, it appears everybody took the bottom almost, except Michael Krueger, Brandon Havens, and that is the 48 of Walls. All chose the outside line.
Yeah, not really surprised to see restart games like this here. The bottom is really so dominant on the starts. Going to be very intriguing to see where Michael Krueger is able to fall in line, because he's unlikely to get a better restart here, of course, just 3 trucks out there.
Alonso Chicano is the control truck. And Chicano gets on a loud pedal. And that outside lane did not get going, and it didn't help that Michael Krueger had a little bit of a blink there.
Yeah, Chicano really caught those guys sleeping there. And Krueger continues to blink, but he's going to slot in line, third in line, just ahead of Alexander Kerfin. Now he jumps back out. He thought Kerfin might have went with him, but all 3 teammates now radius aligned on the bottom. Krueger's left by himself, trying to poke out to that lead, but he's got no help.
Make that 5 radius vortex guys on the bottom in a row. The 25, 20, 30, 12, and 24. All those trucks make up radius vortex camp, and they are all on the bottom. None of them were going to go with Michael Krueger there.
Krueger with a push from Brandon Havens now, but all the way towards the back half of the top 10. Going to be able to tuck in line if he drops back a couple truck lengths there, and able to make a kind of a train again on the inside lane. See if Havens is able to do that before that closes up. He's got to better hurry, because here comes Caleb McCurry and Andrew Elias. It doesn't look like they're going for it quite yet.
And Caleb McCurry goes down to the apron, doesn't want any part of this. Riding on board with Andrew Elias here. We're closing in on stage 1. Just listen to the engine here as he's in the draft.
He's trying to get around Jeremy Richmond just in front of him, but getting blocked in both lanes. He saw an opening to the outside. He currently sits in 10th position, 4 trucks outside of stage points in just 2 laps, and that's crucially something he needs here.
I was wondering if we had some kind of incident involving some drivers.
I believe these guys just wanted to hang out towards the back of the pack. It looked like 2 of them did get involved under caution pacing, trying to catch back up. Actually, just riding behind the pace car. It looked like Matthew Stotts and Jonathan Parker got together, but they're hanging out towards the back of the pack while Cameron Caldwell goes up front to the lead. Not sure if he led that lap, but he is ahead of these guys down the back straightaway. Now leading off his teammates, and here comes Michael Krueger with a huge surge down the back stretch.
Caldwell did lead that lap, so it is an official lap led for Cameron Caldwell. But as mentioned, Michael Krueger strong on the outside. He's got a bunch of trucks working with him as well. There is more trucks on the high side than there is on the low side. As for Michael Krueger, he's sitting at a pretty good spot, and he might edge out Cameron Caldwell at the line. It's going to be close. And it's going to go to Michael Krueger. By the way, this is the last lap of the stage. And things are getting very dicey. Andrew Elias goes all the way to the outside. He's got no help with him. They are 3 wide, though.
They are snaking down that back straightaway below the yellow line just a little bit. They dipped their tires there, those top 2. But they are stacking up big time through 3 and 4, trying to get these points. Andrew Elias, big trouble there. As you mentioned, stepped out of line. Here they come through the triover.
Look at Justin Duran trying to make a third line work. Andrew Elias, way up top.
Wow, Chicano hedges Caldwell barely. And Elias with a huge shove gets to 4th, possibly. We might have to look at the photo for that. They were all stacked up there and they miraculously keep it going, Josh.
At the line, Chicano, Caldwell, Duran, Kerfan, Richmond, and Elias is the top 6. Elias collecting 1 point. Justin Duran getting 4 points there.
Man, such a close battle for the stage win between Cameron Caldwell and Alonso Chicano. That's a playoff point that they're both going to carry on after tonight into the playoffs. Big for them as they are both 1-2 in the regular season standings. That was a very, very important pass for Chicano.
And we're just practically getting started. This is our second caution tonight. First one being for an incident involving Brett Bennett, who, by the way, is currently scored 21st out of 22 drivers in this race. Good news for Brett Bennett is that Dalton Kelly is not too far away from him. That is 1 spot ahead. The bad news for Brett Bennett is that both Durand and Elias scored some stage points there. Pit road is open. We'll see if anybody comes on down. And it appears Andrew Elias is going to stay out. Meanwhile, everybody else is coming on down pit road.
Not surprised Andrew Elias kind of stays out. He needs to do something different, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if he pits later in the caution, though. But one thing important right now, before Alonso Chicano won that stage and has been leading all these laps into caution up until this round of pit stops, is that Alonso and Andrew were tied for the most laps led so far tonight at just 5 apiece because we've had so many different leaders tonight, Josh. 11 different leaders in just 24 laps in the opening stage.
Let's go ahead and talk to our Stage 1 winner. Hey, Alonso. It's Josh up the booth. Get a copy.
I got you guys.
Big stage win there. It was very chaotic to the finish, but you were able to get it done. What was it like there from the 25 machine?
It was exciting. That was fun. Thought we were gonna get an easy stage win there. So we had the whole team on the bottom, Radius and Vortex, and then Cam made it interesting by trying to block the outside lane, but made the move at the right time and was able to steal that stage from Cam and get some extra points for the playoffs. Because I mean that's pretty much what what we're thinking about now is just playoffs and trying to rack up as much points for that as possible because we're going to need all of them. And yeah, that was pretty fun carrying a good message here on the truck on our tailgate. So hopefully we can survive and talk to you guys again after this race.
All right. Well, congrats on the stage win. And yeah, maybe we will get to talk to you later, and maybe to get an actual race win.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
And that was Alonso Chicano, driver of the number 25 machine. And as you mentioned, Adam, and expected, Andrew Elias did come down pit road. So he is taking service. A lot of drivers on pit road as well. So right now, Jeremy Richmond is the race leader. He chose the bottom. Kerfan on top. Brandon Havens on the bottom. Chicano to the top. Tyler Watermullen is third truck on the inside row. Or lane, rather. Reuter will start on the outside of row 3. "66 laps to go when we do take the green flag." And looking there at a beautiful paint scheme on Jeremy Richmond's number 98 truck.
Very distinct number 98.
A lot more drivers elected to take the top lane here, Adam. And I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, usually, yeah, it is a little intriguing that the rules have been reversed here. I don't know if it's because a lot of the more regular guys in the series don't trust people who have chosen the bottom because they're not really regulars, or they just snuck up there the way everything happened. I don't know. And very peculiar pick, like you mentioned. So Richmond leader chose the bottom. No one went with him, like you mentioned. So Kerfan gonna, I think in part Chicano lining up behind him as his teammate, that might have played a factor in it. But we'll see here. A lot of dominant out of that top lane we should expect here, but control truck on the bottom could be interesting.
Jeremy Richmond is waiting to give the start, and he does, but nobody really goes with him. Alonso Chicano on the back bumper of Alexander Kerfan, and Kerfan and Chicano are going to go in front of Jeremy Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond probably should have done a better job of stacking the field up behind him. He let those two radius guys just get stacked up like that and just take off while he had no one close to his tailgate. Brandon Havens was 2 truck lengths back by the time he accelerated and 4 or 5 by the time he got to the finish line.
You see Tyler Watermullen on that apron dropping back, electing to take the strategy of staying on in the back. A couple of Vortex Radius guys leading this race. Ahead of Jeremy Richmond, Brandon Havens, and Micah Walls to round out the top 5.
Kerfan back. Oh, excuse me, Josh. Just want to mention Kerfan out in front. First laps he's led since the opening lap as El Posto. As we see 44 and 42 back here racing with Brett Bennett.
And this is so frustrating for Brett Bennett right now. Just knowing that he's not full on power and watching those guys, his teammate in the 44 and competitor, to make the chase, just kind of drive right on by. And of course, Michael Krueger helping, and they might go all the way to the front, just those two. Jeremy Richmond, Brandon Havens, they're not really connected to that 25-30 duo. And Brandon Havens jumps up to the top.
Yeah, the field really is split in half right now. Guys who we saw up front in the first stage, they got their points and they are out of here. While a lot of these guys are staying here, of course excluding stage winner Chicano, who is of course up front a lot at these plate tracks, but Andrew Elias to the lead with that push from Michael Krueger, gonna duck down in front of Alexander Kurfan, back out in front for that 44 truck.
And he left Krueger out to dry. Krueger with help from Brandon Havens, but he needs a little bit more help to get the lead away from Andrew Elias. Havens a little bit squirrely just behind 42, Michael Krueger. Right now, Krueger doing a great job staying to the outside with just those two trucks. And Kurfan going to drop down to the bottom, work his way to the back. That is going to absolutely kill the momentum on the bottom. And Havens and Krueger are now in front of Andrew Elias, who settles for the third spot now.
And here come some names up front that we have yet to mention almost all night. Carl Felver, Craig Fryer, Kyle Lurdo, they're out inside the top 8, so that's very impressive to see them now showing their hands up front. After being completely in the back, the opening stage, they weren't even running in the lead pack. They were the guys 9-10 seconds back early on, Josh. So while Cameron Caldwell and Alexander Kurfan have dropped to the back with Brett Bennett, who has lost this pack, these guys are now up front trying to race themselves.
Yeah, Felver and Fryer doing a great job working together, especially with that 9 Kyle Ritter, as you were talking about. A Ford, a Chevy, and a Toyota working together, but they're making it work and getting their 3 trucks towards the front. It's single file for now. Let's go ahead and do turn it up. Andrew Elias back to the point here at Talladega. 59 laps to go in the Mardon PC.com 200. And it has been pretty much Andrew Elias and Michael Krueger controlling things when things have been calm. Brandon Havens in third place. Brandon wants to get around these guys, and one thing that's surprising me right here, Adam, is how far out Andrew Elias is.
Yeah, he's gapping the field right now and still pulling away. I was going to say he was very vulnerable on the back straightaway, the gap he had, but he's still continuing to motor away from these guys right now.
And look at Brandon Havens, pulls to the outside, has nobody going with him. Havens is going to get around Michael Krueger. And you see here, Andrew Elias down on the apron, not wanting Havens to get the draft at all. Elias has to pull back up onto the track to make turn 3. And I'm not
Something looks wrong with Krueger. Yeah, he is tremendously slow. He's 7/10 behind Havens now. And now Havens is checking up. Something, yeah, I don't understand what's going on right now, Josh. Is it fuel mileage? Because I can't imagine something to do with fuel this early in the going.
They definitely have to pit, but I'm not sure why they would be using Andrew Elias as a fuel pig this far out.
Especially the way he's in point situation. Yeah, exactly. And now the Krueger is losing spots now. He is being passed by a couple of SBOD guys, including Tyler Watermelon. So now going towards the tail end of the lead draft. They have caught Elias already, pretty much. It's going to be, it wouldn't have taken much, but they are not running him down as much as I would have thought. Here comes Havens with a huge shove from those two Silver Rock guys. They're coming at full steam almost, Josh.
And Elias now has teammate Tyler Watermelon behind. Watermelon having some blinking issues a little bit. Havens down to the bottom, though. And Jonathan Nance wants nothing of that. To the point, from 10th to 1st is Jonathan Nance. Nance, Sack, and Stotts. The 3 trucks on the top here. And Andrew Elias goes to the outside behind the 89 of Greg Sack. And just as he does that, Sack and Nance pull to the bottom. Elias able to get to the bottom just in front of Brandon Havens. Pokes his nose to the outside. Brandon Havens looked like he wanted to make a move. Forced Elias out there. Now Elias is a sitting duck at the moment to the outside of Greg Sack. Now here comes Brandon Havens to the back of Andrew Elias to help Elias get back to the point. The field is so spread out, I don't even know what's going on here, Adam.
Yeah, me neither, Josh. I'm just kind of letting it play out for the moment and letting this kind of play out. A 2x2 for the lead, though. And as soon as I say that, these two are going to easily blow by the Silver Rock guys. They got separated. I'm at a loss of words right now, Josh, to be honest.
I'm very surprised at what's going on. We have been given permission to talk to Andrew Elias under green flag conditions. And I'm very curious to know if he has anything to say about this, but I'm a little nervous to bring him in.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Josh. I might have to do some investigating myself because this entire field is separated by car lengths of each other. It's not as big as the separation we saw earlier, but it's individual trucks separated by seconds in some cases. And you see the huge margins. This is inside the top 10 at Talladega. This is like a 1.5 race right now, Josh.
Yeah, this is like the old Talladega, way back in the 80s, before they put restrictor plates on, when Bill Elliott set a record that really kind of forced them to put restrictor plates in the NASCAR stock cars. This is spread out. I'm so confused. Meanwhile, Brandon Havens goes to the outside. He's got help. Andrew Elias is a sitting duck on the bottom now. No help as Havens to the point. But Jonathan Nance stays to the outside with Greg Sack and Matthew Stotts. Stotts looking to the bottom to help out Krueger. But here comes Watermullen and, Stotts to the bottom to help out Elias. Here comes Watermullen and Krueger. And they're back to single file. Watermullen looking to the outside, but tucks back in behind Sack and ahead of Krueger. Watermullen trying to make something happen on that outside lane. He's got no help. And now he does as Stotts and Elias go to the outside. Elias getting back to the point here ahead of Brandon Havens, but Stotts goes to the bottom. Elias wanted to. Realized Stotts was underneath and pulled back up. Now it is Elias and Watermullen up top. And Brandon Havens goes to the top as well. This is crazy.
3 wide. Andrew Elias all the way to the top. Tried leading that lap. Couldn't quite do it. He's top of 3 wide still for the race lead, but he's easily going to get blown by with no push. Matthew Stotts, I believe, led that lap, Josh.
That was Matthew Stotts to lead the lap. They are still 3 wide. Brandon Havens was all the way up top. Now Greg Sack leads the race. They're trying to wreck. They save it. Havens came down, I believe, on Stotts.
See the damage right there on the left side of the 40. Wow, they got very lucky to keep driving away from that one, I should say, at full power. Wow, and here comes Matthew Stotts being aggressive again on Gary Sack for the lead. With Andrew Elias 3 wide again, this time in the middle.
I think Andrew Elias, he might need a new pair of pants after seeing that, but he is still up there. And he's got Gary Sack, going all the way to the top. Elias all the way to the bottom behind Havens now. But Jonathan Nance, the lone truck on the outside. Nance goes to the inside lane. Elias looks high, not able to make a move behind Brandon Havens. And here comes Nance with a run with Gary Sack behind. Nance and Elias to the outside. And Elias back to the point.
These guys continue to be spread out all the way behind them. The field has been packed together. The distance from first to last has been cut in half in just a couple of laps. There you see a couple trucks side by side. That's Tyler Watermullen on the outside, I believe, just behind. Actually, no, that's a little bit further back.
That was going to be Alonso Chicano and 15 of Felver, I believe. There is Tyler Watermullen just ahead of Felver. I knew this race was going to be very unpredictable, Adam. I didn't expect this amount of unpredictable out of this race.
Absolutely. We've had 14 different leaders and probably 3 times as many that lead changes in just about halfway as we are right now, and it's been, like you mentioned, unpredictable. I don't really know what to expect next, as we have Elias leading the field, but still very strung out at the moment.
And we are coming to halfway in this race with 47 down, 47 to go in this race. There, Xander Elias leads at the halfway point. It's going to be Stutz. It's on the outside trying to make something happen. But this whole field now is on the bottom.
Luckily, like I said, it's spread out just enough he can kind of tuck back in line pretty quickly. He's going to stay up there, though. It might hurt his chances to jump down in line real quick. He's going to easily coast down there. He's got plenty of time between Michael Krueger and Gary Sack right now.
So you see here, this is elapsed since we have trouble in the back.
Someone jumped out of line, it looked like.
They saved it, but it was 25 of Alonso Chicano and I'm not sure who else. I thought it was the 15 of Carl Felver, but it might have been 45 of Dalton Kelly. I thought it was a black truck back here. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get a replay. And it doesn't appear that we're able to, but whatever it wasn't big. I do see a little tiny bit of, I believe, damage on the right front of Felver. So it might have been Felver, or it could be part of the design on his truck. I'm not really sure. Anyway, if you look at on the ticker, you do see the laps since the last pit. 23 and 24 laps for all of these drivers. I'm not really sure how far they can go on a tank of fuel, but it'll be about 15 or so more laps before they could cut this stage in half. Come down pit road. We are all single file throughout the entire pack right now. And Andrew Elias is sitting in a very comfortable position here, leading this race. Andrew has had a lot of work to do to keep his truck up front. I'm still not so sure what really happened several laps ago where we saw Andrew Elias pull out to a huge lead and Michael Krueger lost a bunch of positions from 2nd to 7th. Krueger currently in P5, and it appears once again that Krueger is allowing such a big gap to form between himself and the 89 of Gary Sack.
Yeah, maybe it's a fuel game he's trying to play himself. Maybe he's kind of ditched his own plan of trying to work with other people. Now he jumps out of line completely. Maybe it's just an issue. We've seen him blink quite a few times tonight. It could be connection issues. But I just don't understand why no one intended to pass him and took so long the first time to even try to get around him when he was so slow. Now he's going to tuck back in line right behind Chicano inside the top 10. So only 5 positions lost there for the 42 machine.
Didn't really appear that he was lifting a lot there entering the corner. He was still a bit behind that 25 of Alonso Chicano. See him kind of feathering the throttle. There is feathering the throttle a little bit there on the front stretch, but he's completely out of the gas here. Maybe about 25% fuel or throttle time there. So Krueger is saving a lot of fuel. The only driver that's not saving any fuel, or doesn't even have a chance to save any fuel, that is the 44, Andrew Elias.
Yeah, obviously he's just guzzling away fuel, leading this whole pretty much train of trucks, and just the fuel mileage is not in his favor, of course. But one thing is in his favor, all the laps he's leading right now, Josh, he's continuing to put all those laps in the bank. He's led quite a few already tonight. I believe he's led the most out of any driver, and he's continuing. He's been out in front for about 10 consecutive laps right now, so could be another bonus point heading his way. But like you mentioned, Josh, if he doesn't have enough fuel, it's not going to mean anything because he's going to run out of gas, and not with no trucks out of the race. Very disastrous with how tight they are in the point standings right now.
Yeah, and I think, obviously everybody's going to have to pit again in this race. There is no doubt that nobody can make it. Sorry, I said that wrong. Everybody has to pit, no doubt. Andrew Elias, of course, leading. He is burning up more fuel than everybody else in this race. And he could be in a position here where everybody else is able to stay out an extra lap or two and force Elias to come down. And if everybody's able to stay out a couple extra laps or even one, this really could hurt Andrew Elias and his chance to make the chase. Before tonight, though, Andrew Elias had only led 9 laps this season. Jason Gracias, of course, with the most at 392. Carl Felver with 374, and Alonso Chicano 99 laps led behind at 275. Of course, Chicano has some laps led in this race already.
And one thing I don't think we've yet to mention about Andrew Elias yet tonight is his second place run at Daytona to kickstart that season. He's been really consistent all year. He's had a couple of issues throughout the midway portion of the regular season, but been consistently rallying off finishes all year, and to put himself in this position, huge step up for this team. And he's really on pace for hopefully a win in his near future. We've been talking about it for weeks for this team, and obviously very dominant performance tonight when everything's on the line, and obviously Talladega, a great track for this team, a lot of speed. Even peel off here, Josh. He's by himself. It's going to be terrible. Talk about the fuel mileage, and now he's going to have no drafting help if it stays like this and no one follows him on, and it doesn't look like it. All alone from the lead to last, Josh. Oh my goodness.
I am very shocked here. It does look like it's going to be fuel only for Andrew Elias, as I've not seen his right or left sides go up on that 44 truck, but a long time here on pit road. Pit speed 55 miles an hour, and it is just going to be fuel only for Andrew Elias. He has got to haul and hope that others have issues getting onto pit road here. And I don't believe anybody else has elected to come down pit road, as everybody does stay out. So right now, Andrew Elias, he is about to blend it back in on the backstretch, whereas the field is just now entering turn 1.
Yeah, the good news is he was in the lead, but the bad news is he's by himself, and he's going to get run down tremendously when everything cycles. He's going to be way behind the pack because he doesn't have any draft on his exit laps, and it's going to be very, very crucial here. Of course, the way the speeds are at Talladega.
Now, I'm really surprised here, because I did not think that it would be this soon drivers would start pit, so I don't think Andrew Elias was out. Drivers electing to come down pit road, though.
Oh, Josh, I was about to say we could call him up and ask, but yeah, we got more action on pit road. Both of the Silver Rack guys and Braden Havens coming in. Gonna leave Carl Felver in the lead for the first time tonight.
Felver, Freer, and Reuter all working together here, and Dalton Kelly in P4. Highest he's been since leading the lap way earlier in this race.
Lap number 3, Dalton Kelly led, and there he is up in 4th like you mentioned, so. And here we look at Andrew Elias. Let's see if he's going to be able to latch on to the draft of one of those trucks who just pitted. It's going to be a tall task because they had, what, 2 more laps of draft than him?
And there they are, so he will...
He's going to blow by him, but now he's still by himself, at least.
He was able to get around Matthew Stotts. He's not going to be able to catch up to Watermullen, Sack, Havens, and Nance ahead.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Stotts who had an issue on his pit stop himself.
Nobody came down pit road that time, Pi. And you see Matthew Stotts just ahead of race leader Carl Felver here.
And Andrew Elias is just ahead of him, just 4 seconds up the road. So if these guys don't pit soon, which they are right now, I was going to say, well, Elias is in deep, deep trouble, but these Fords are coming on pit road right now hot.
Oh, Reuter locked up the tires. And that may have scared Freer just a little bit there. And everybody did come down pit road that still had to come down. For Andrew Elias, though, he is all by himself. Stotts 5.5 seconds behind. Watermullen 5.1 seconds ahead. Elias needs to hope here that he's able to catch some draft with some of the guys that are in pit road right now. We're going to look once again through the cockpit, and he's going to be right there with them.
Could have been a lot much worse. He's going to be actually pretty far up in this draft, I'd say, Josh.
Looks like he's going to tuck in behind Brett Bennett and be ahead of McCurry. Bennett staying low. Elias going to the outside, so he's got Brett Bennett behind and Jonathan Parker ahead.
And through all of that pit stops, Carl Felver is going to keep the lead. Kyle Rauter right behind him. He got ahead of Felver's teammate Craig Fryer through that pit exchange. And they got a gap to the Silver Rock guys, Gary Seck and Jonathan Nance.
And the driver that suffered the most through that was Matthew Stotts, who is way off pace from the 48 of Micah Walls. And here we see Andrew Elias, currently 15th. And
On an island of his own right now.
for sure. Luckily, he's got a lot of trucks. He's got a lot of trucks behind him that are a pack that's going to catch him. He's got Parker ahead to work with, and Parker is in the draft of Krueger, Chicano, and Richmond, and looks like Durand as well up there, as well as Caldwell.
Meanwhile, jumping back up front real quick, the Silver Rock guys have caught CFM and Kyle Reuter up front. And here comes Craig Fryer going to jump out of line on the outside of Kyle Reuter. But he doesn't have his teammate Carl Felver up there to tuck in front of him. He's not all by himself going for the lead. It's going to be a tall task to clear the 15. But being teammates, he might lift here. What does Kyle Reuter do? He's going to be able to do it. 21 of Craig Fryer to lead.
And I think these three drivers are working together as they have all night long. And, yeah, I think Ritter knew what was going on there and allowed Felver to lift for teammate Fryer there. Meanwhile, Sack, Nance, they're hanging back, but Cameron Caldwell and those Radius Vortex guys with Jeremy Richmond are on the outside lane trying to make something happen.
Huge right now. They just turned up the wick in the last two corners, and with a huge head of steam, with a push from Durand and Richmond in that mix with Alonso, they just blew the doors off everyone coming through 1 and 2, running that top lane all by themselves.
They absolutely did. And you see that yellow truck way up against the wall. That is Andrew Elias, who is right back in this thing. He's just ahead of Kerfan. Elias tucks on down into the inside. Right back to the outside in front of Kerfan. Looked like Felver wanted to make a move. Felver stayed to the bottom, right along with the trucks he's been working with all night long. And now Brandon Havens to the outside. He sees that yellow truck ahead. Havens has been kind of working with and working against Andrew Elias. Havens sees that happening, and here they come, Kerfan and Elias, making that outside line work. Elias right back to the point, and Elias is going to bring Kerfan with him. They both clear the bottom now, and for Andrew Elias, I'm not sure if he should be scared, as he's got 3 Radius Vortex guys just behind him. Brandon Havens and Freer were on the outside. Freer gets back down to the inside. Now Brandon Havens is the only truck to the outside.
Caldwell and Kerfan, of course, locked in the playoffs with wins and points this season, but right behind him is David Durand, and he is in a peculiar position. I think he's one of those trucks, Josh, if he wins, I'm double checking. Indeed, he is. If he wins, he steals that 7th wildcard position from one of the SBOD guys if they don't outpoint Zach Probst.
Andrew Elias here, he just needs to stay focused. Stay on the point. There's 27 laps to go, and if I recall some words that were spoken by one of the best at a track like Daytona Talladega, that is the Pied Piper, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he always said he wanted to lead from 30 laps to go to the end. If he could lead from 30 to go to the end, he was in a comfortable spot. And we are inside that 30 to go window. Andrew Elias to the point here. Let's see if he's able to keep that position. Brandon Havens continuing to try to make that outside lane work. And one thing I noticed was Justin Durand was able to get ahead of David Durand. Maybe able to see those Durand brothers working together to get one of them a win. Havens still on that outside lane, really not making it easy for anybody on the bottom to try to make any kind of move. And I give Havens a lot of props here because he is just trying so hard to use that side draft and make it work all by himself.
Yeah, he really doesn't have any teammates out there. It's single truck operation, so he has been a man by himself, a man on a mission all night, trying different things, and most of them have worked, and he's been up front all night, and he's kept pretty much a clean truck. He got a little bit of damage to that left side earlier. He was one of those involved in that back straightaway shenanigan that didn't cause a crash just exactly, but he's been up front almost all night, Josh, and he's been quiet all season. We talked about him really early in the broadcast, and he's just been making noise all night, and that's just been... This is what Talladega is about, just showing people different names up front and having them be in the mix, you know?
And one thing I'd like to note is not this time that they just crossed the line, but the time before that, Brandon Havens was the fastest truck out there. And it was because he was able to be full throttle throughout the entirety of the track. And of course, using that side draft to slow the bottom lane down, that was able to help Brandon Havens to be the fastest truck that lap. That time, it was Jonathan Nance who had the fastest lap. And while we're talking about the fastest lap, because there is a point that is scored for the fastest lap of the race altogether, and that currently goes to Gary Sack with a 50.587. So right now, none of the bubble guys are able to get that bonus point for fastest lap turned in the race. But Andrew Elias is definitely making sure he gets a lot of bonus points here by just leading laps. Trying to turn the most laps led as well.
They've separated themselves from him right now.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. The Durand brothers are backing off from Caldwell a little bit. Kerfan looked like he wanted to kind of poke his nose out there. I think that might have been just kind of a planned thing to do. Just poke his nose out, see if he can do something later on in the race. Not quite do something now, but maybe strategize for a little bit later on in the race. I know a lot of drivers, including myself, when they're, in a position kind of like Kerfan or maybe in like Caldwell or the Durand's positions, just kind of poke your nose out there, look in the mirror, see if one of the guys look like they're going to poke their nose out as well. Not quite go, or if you get a run, just kind of see what your truck might do. Just a couple laps left, so Kerfan, of course, not making a move. but stick his nose out just a little bit. Once again, though, Brandon Havens using that outside lane and just working it really well, trying to get to the outside of Kerpan. Not quite able to just yet. This is the MardonPC.com 200 at Talladega Super Speedway in the Pits News Truck Series. Got a little bit of movement going on towards the back. 89 of Gary Sack. Jump to the outside. Brandon Havens, who fell back quite a lot, has somebody to work with. But
excuse me, Josh. Elias drifted up to the top, and Krueger looked like he was going to pass him for it. Now he tucked up behind him while Caldwell, the Durand, stay down low for the time being. But they're not getting around the 30 or the 44. They're just kind of hanging right there. Of course, the 30 and the 12 are all teammates with the Durands right behind them.
But here comes Sack and Havens once again on that outside, trying to spoil the party. There is 20 coming to 19 laps to go at the line. And now, Felber, Freer, just behind, as well as Reuter. They're going to try to make a third lane work.
Race has been calm all night, Josh. Within 20 to go, it's time to turn on the oven. Make it hotter. I know it's already hot out here at Talladega, summertime, but these guys are 3 wide up front now for the first time pretty much all night. It's go time.
And it is 3 wide for the lead now. Andrew Elias on the bottom. Gary Sack on the top and Carl Felber. I'm sorry, Sack in the middle. Felber up top. Sack with Havens. Felber with Freer and Reuter. Elias with everybody else. Elias wants no part of it. He jumps to the back. That is going to allow Sack to get all the way down to the bottom comfortably. And I can't say I blame Andrew Elias, who actually is down pit road.
Yeah, that was not a bad call at all until he made the hard left turn to go down 55 miles an hour down pit speed. I don't understand this at all unless he couldn't make it on fuel. Leading all that laps, that wasn't that many, Josh. It was only about 7 or 8 laps he was out in front of the stint, though.
Right sides go up. And right sides only there for the 44 machine. I think Andrew Elias is banking on a caution coming out.
I wouldn't doubt it the way they're racing up front right now. By the time he was getting past, there were 3 wide, of course, with him on the bottom. Like I said, wouldn't have been a bad call because it was getting hairy. Now it's calmed back down since he's retreated with the CFM guys controlling the race again with Kyle Rauter right there tucked up behind in third. And here they are again, going all over the place trying to break the draft IndyCar style as we have a lap truck just ahead of them. That's who they were stuck in the draft off of, Matthew Stotts.
And that is Matthew Stotts. And as I was going to say, you heard me talk about Stotts earlier as the biggest loser of that pit cycle. They just now passed Matthew Stotts. So Andrew Elias, he's kind of hopeful here that they won't catch him as quickly as they may seem. Of course, Elias wasn't just behind the pack. Elias is just now in the center of the trial. Well, these guys, of course, about to exit turn 4. Elias banking on a caution coming out, but right now it is those CFM guys leading this race ahead of Kyle Reuter, Gary Sack, and Brandon Havens. 15 laps to go, this time by Carl Felver is your race leader, 3-time winner this season. We know Felver is going to be into the chase, automatically guaranteed after taking one of those wild card spots, but he could add another win to his season so far. He's able to hold on for 15 more laps.
Field spreading out once again. Very spread out for the top 20 trucks that are left in this lead pack right now.
And here is the view off the back of Andrew Elias. That is the leader, and the rest of the pack just behind. Elias still might catch a break here. If caution were to come out, and he is ahead of Matthew Stotts, as long as Elias isn't involved in the accident, he could become the free pass and get right back on the lead lap. And everybody
hog that bottom, no surprise, yeah.
Yeah. And I like this. I like this out of Andrew Elias. As the driver's running up front here, it is very frustrating because you want that lap truck to go high, but he doesn't have to. And so here, once everybody starts to pull down, he's going to have the draft, and actually he doesn't even have to wait till they pull down. Gary Sack goes down behind the 44, and now Andrew Elias is right behind Carl Felver.
The only thing is now he's in the danger zone. He's boxed in between trucks. If a crash happens at the front of the field, he's got nowhere to go, and he is in danger of being involved in that incident. As the field continues to congest up behind these guys now, as they race 2x2 up front for Carl Felver and Craig Fryer side by side.
Andrew Elias needs to continue to do what he has done all night, and that is to be aggressive but conservative at the same time. And I think he's done a great job at that all night. For Andrew Elias, he needs to pretend like he is still here in the lead pack. Go out there, try to lead this line around, and guarantee that if wreck happens, it is behind him and not around him. Outside lane is pretty much non-existent. Elias going to the outside. Reuter tucked in. Now Elias is behind the 21 of Freer. They're going to be 3 wide. Well, when I said conservatively aggressive, I didn't expect this to be the aggressive point that I was talking about. Now he has no help. And unless if Brandon Havens, who's been working with him, goes up there, which he does not, I don't think anybody's going to go up there with Elias. He might be able to tuck in here in front of the 30 of Kerfan, but he stays to the outside. There is a hole behind Caldwell if he's able to get there. 10 laps to go.
It's going to feel fast, and he's not close enough just yet, Josh.
Havens wanting to go to the outside. Havens stays low, but I think Havens might make a move to the outside here on the backstretch. Havens does not. Stays to the bottom. Elias to the outside of Havens now. Freer is trying to block that run of Elias. Not able to do so. Elias pulls to the outside of the 21 machine. Craig Fryer. Elias gonna fade back now through the corner.
Yeah, Andrew did such a great job. He side drafted his way all the way from door to door with Brandon Havens in 5th to get up to Fryer in 2nd place, and he had a run to probably get ahead of the leaders, but like you mentioned, got the air blocked by Fryer down the front straightaway, so he kind of lost all that run right there, and now he's falling back to clutches of Havens here in 4th and 5th with Gary Sack.
Kerfan, Caldwell, Duran, the other Duran, they go to the outside. They're behind Andrew Elias now, trying to use him to help all of them get to the front. Jeremy Richmond, Alonso Chicano, all these trucks go to the outside. They're now 3 wide. Freer thinks better of it. He backs out. Felver still leading this pack, and here comes Elias, of course, still 1 lap down. He's going to lead the outside lane and help the 30 of Kerfan take the lead.
It's going to split up the CFM duo, while Kyle Loud is going to keep shoving that 15 all the way in the back of Andrew Elias into turn 3. Felver back out in front of the field as Kerfan fades up top. Here comes Fryer in the center. Can he get hooked back up with him? Not quite yet, as Elias leads the field, but he is tail end of the lead lap. Coming to 7 to go.
He is praying for a caution to come out now behind him. And they are super sketchy all around. The truck goes around.
He spins to the apron. We're going to stay green because of that.
I'm not even sure who it was.
Looked like Jonathan. I don't know, actually, yeah.
Gary Sack.
He got pushed down off the track and he got sent into the inside of the racetrack. Another truck, it might have been Kyle Rauda. I think I saw a Mardon PC logo involved in that, and it slammed one truck. It was Gary Sack below the yellow line, of course, who we saw way behind the field now.
Not sure who else it was. Reuter is 3rd on the inside lane. Now they're going to be 3
was in the
wide
lead,
for the
but
lead.
yeah, it was Fryer in the lead, but yeah, Kerfan 3 wide, trying to split it up. Felver led that lap just barely, but here comes Kerfan on the outside.
Kerfan currently just ahead of Felver, behind that yellow truck of Andrew Elias. And here comes Kerfan trying to get the side draft with help of teammate Cameron Caldwell.
I shuffled all the way to the back of this pack pretty much. He's going to tuck in behind Chicano in 9th, 10th position. He is there on the outside lane. And Alexander Kerfan still leading, and this got to be so infuriating for Kyle Felver trying to lead the race, but you got a slower truck ahead of you. It's not even on the same lap as you guys.
And for Andrew Elias, he's seeing just everything he wants to see, except he would rather be the one in the lead rather than the one that is almost 1 lap down. For Felver, he is so frustrated because if he wants to make a move, he can't. He's boxed in, so this is best case scenario for Kerfan, who has all of his teammates behind him.
But the good thing with Felver is he's got a draft in front of him. Kerfan, of course, does not. It's all clean air, which usually is a good thing, except here at the big track, Talladega. The aerodynamics, of course, you want the draft. It's going to make you faster, of course, and he's only got it from one end, while Felver's got help from both ways, of course.
Kerfan staying up there. Caleb McCurry gets a little squirrely in the back, that red truck rather, towards the back. Curry was able to save it.
Alexander Kerfan just needs to get clear of the 44 truck, and he hasn't even been close yet. So it's going to be a tall task for him to even think about trying to get a hold of this race, as the 44 is going to duck out of line. With 4 to go, it's an open race for these two up front now, Josh.
That changes everything. Here we go. Kyle Reuter, now the truck behind Carl Felver. And as you just saw, right on the back of that 15 truck, please push me. He is wanting Reuter to push him hard. But now we're getting a third lane working to that outside. It is Alonso Chicano with help, and David Duran goes in front of Chicano. They are now 3 wide, almost for the lead. Felver, Kerfan, Durand.
That's David Duran. A win and he's in. It would completely shake up everything. He's leading the outside lane with the push from Chicano, his teammate. And then the radius truck's in the middle.
Wow.
Gouda squirrely on the back bumper of the 15, Josh, and they are separated from Brandon Havens on the bottom.
And
He's
Havens
going to duck out of line.
Havens ducked in. That's going to hurt the momentum on the bottom and help the middle lane here.
Michael
Kerfan.
Krueger is back up front for the first time in a long time, Josh. Excuse me. He is right on the back bumper of the 9.
Yeah, he is. This is intense. This is white knuckle driving. 2 laps to go. Is there going to be a caution? Where's it going to come at? Oh man, that 21 machine almost was where it was at.
He was blocking the lines. He left the bottom open. He might get run over from Router there on the bottom. No, he has the lane available still barely. David Duran from the top all the way to the bottom. He's clear. The 9's on the inside of the 15 though.
Here we go. Reuter's going to be forced to push Duran. Duran, what is Duran going to do? Here comes the outside and the middle lane. 3 wide for the lead. Once again, they're coming to the white flag.
David Duran's season's on the line, but here comes Alonso again out of nowhere on the last lap. He did it in the stage. Here he comes.
4 wide, they're wrecking.
Jeremy
it straight.
Hill McCurry still green up, of course. David Duran with the lead, of course, at the moment, just barely over Felver and Chicano.
Wow, I am shaking and I'm in the broadcast booth. Here comes Chicano once again. With help from Jonathan Nance. It is currently David Duran with help from Kyle Reuter, who is now clear. Reuter might have a chance to make a move. Reuter trying to look. Reuter going. Reuter makes the move. So does Krueger. They're 3 wide down the front stretch.
He's all the way below the yellow line.
They're wrecking it. It's going to be Kyle Reuter to win the race. Wow!
The entire pack imploded through the triovals. The entire field crashed horrendously. Where Kyle Reuter returns.
Oh my goodness! Reuter first. Justin Arant second. Craig Freer third. Carl Felver fourth. Dalton Kelly fifth. Oh my goodness!
Came out of nowhere to get fifth. He was nowhere in that pack in the last laps. Wow.
Third?
That was bound to happen, Josh.
I am surprised they didn't wreck beforehand.
No, with all that energy, that had to go someplace, and it just went everywhere in the tri-oval.
Third career in the Pits News Truck Series win for Kyle Reuter.
You mentioned it, 3rd win, but he has been absent in this league for the majority of this season. I believe it's only his 3rd, maybe 2nd start this season, Josh.
I don't even know the point situation right now.
Oh, me neither. Completely out the window. No one finished.
We might have to have an extended post race here to wait for official word.
We need to break down that finish like 5 times, I think. Maybe not, if not more. Because we need to see like everything just happen. Like 5. We need to watch it slow-mo so many times, Josh. So much happened. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, I have never. This is the best race in the Pits News Truck Series has put on. all season long, and we have seen some great races, but this is by far the best one yet. And we I don't even know where to start to break down what happened, Adam. I don't.
Me neither.
That was
There were 4 wide in the
insanity.
trioval, and there were trucks in the grass, trucks in the fence. Got Andrew Elias getting pushed back here with a blown motor while Kyle Outer is celebrating on the start finish line.
We have a lot to break down here. Let's go ahead. And bring in Craig Freer. Hey Craig. I don't even know where to start to interview you here, but what a finish! What a third place finish out of you. Break down that entire last lap for us from your perspective. What it was like in that 3 wide battle, just multiple trucks deep.
Yeah, I mean, props to everybody for keeping it 3 wide for 5 laps or so. I mean, I was trying to move up a little bit a couple laps ago to kind of block for Carl, and then all the Alonso and all his teammates kind of shoved me out, so I wasn't able to help him to another victory. But it was just chaos. And no real lane. You could tell in the middle was getting a decent run, but every time they got up, they got held back a little bit, so nobody could really make any progress. And then coming through that tri-oval was just insane. I think I was in 13th before that tri-oval, or 14th, and then I went to 3rd. It was insane.
If there was anything different you could have done, what would it have been?
Well, I'll probably just stay in the bottom. With I think 6 to go is when I got shoved out, and just stay with Carl. I think Elias kind of broke, or Andrew kind of broke us up a little bit. He wasn't able to really. It wasn't super clean on the inside. It just was. We didn't have really the speed that we were looking for down there, and that's why I just went up the block. And if I would have just stayed down there, I think Carl would have had a better shot at it. But I mean, Reuter was working with us all night, so awesome to him for getting that victory. So I'm pretty stoked for him, and basically a teammate win. So it was a good night for us. I think we were 1-2-4 or 1-3-4. So that was awesome.
Is there any shout outs you'd like to give? Who gets it done for you behind the 21 machine?
I'll shout out to my fiance. I know she's probably not watching this race. She's on her bachelorette party right now, so I'm sure she's tearing it up out in Rhode Island right now. So I'll shout out to her, and hopefully she comes back in one piece tomorrow.
All right. Well, congrats on the 3rd spot, and that was insane.
I'm sure you guys had a good shot of it too. I mean, I saw not a whole lot of it, but all of it at the same time. So I'm sure you guys had a better view of it. I'm sure it was a good call. So, yep. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you guys later.
And that was Craig Freer, 3rd place finisher tonight. Adam, you have Justin Durant.
Absolutely, Justin. You were 10th there in turn 4 on the last lap, and then you end up P2. What was that last straightaway pretty much like?
I basically just kept my foot on the gas. I mean, we were trying really hard to get David a win to get him in the playoffs. And sucks that couldn't happen, so, I mean, I'll take a 2nd place finish out of that.
Pretty much leading up into this race, though, we had no idea if you were going to be able to make it. You had PC problems all week. Can you kind of break it down through that this past 7 days, of course?
Yeah, Monday I got blue screen of death on my PC about a month ago, and I literally spent every day after work trying to get it booted up. Luckily, my dad has 35 years of computer experience, so he just basically walked me through that, got it pretty much set up Thursday night, reinstalled iRacing last night just in time for this.
It was great to see you back out here, and believe you made it into that chase, and what's that do for your season, of course?
It's better than my expectations coming in. You know, being a rookie, you know, it's gonna hurt though coming into the chase, not really having playoff points like the other contenders are. So I'm already behind the 8 ball. But we'll go ahead and give it my best run these last 4 races.
Well, congrats on qualifying for it and P2 run tonight. As crazy as the race was, do you have any shout-outs for podium finish tonight?
Just the whole team, Radius / Vortex. I felt we worked very well together all night, saved a lot of fuel. We were really good, clean pit stops on the green flag run there. Just another shout out to Alonso. He gave a great push to David to get him the chance to get the win. So that's about all we can ask for. And then obviously you two, you guys broadcast the race every week for us. So just a shout out for a good broadcast every week.
Okay, well, congrats again, and thanks for your time tonight, Justin.
All right, you too.
We go to Victory Lane. Kyle Reuter, our race winner. Kyle, what a win! What a race! Your 3rd win in the Pits News Truck Series. You've not really been a regular this season at all, but just first of all, congrats on the win. Break down those last few laps for us.
Thanks, guys. Man, I don't even know where to begin. I wasn't even sure I was going to race tonight. I haven't really ran much on Saturdays because the real race season started, and then I've been helping out my friends and getting ready for getting their cars ready and everything. So I hopped in and kind of on an island by myself, the only BK car out there. So figured, what the hell, I'll hop in a draft with Craig and Carl. And I can't thank them guys enough. They actually took me under their wing and, walked me through the fuel mileage. And so I just sat back and unfortunately at the end, I think there was about 3 to go maybe, we got split up. I was going to try to let Craig back down in front of me, but I was going to get ran over, so I had to lay off the throttle, or hammer the throttle and get up there. So, yeah, I don't even know what just happened.
So, you were behind David Durand, and you had Michael Krueger pushing you to that finish. You made a move to go to the outside. Did you think that it was going to work out the way it did?
It was absolutely a Hail Mary. I am not a super speedway guy. I am a short track guy, so I like to pull that move a lot on the short track where I, try to dive it under there. And I'm like, I had a hell of a run, so I'm just gonna go for it and not look in my rearview mirror and hope for the best. And it worked out. So I'm very thrilled with that. And yeah, great run up front with everybody though. Had a lot of fun.
Well, before we let you go, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give? Who gets it done for you?
Like I said before, Craig and Carl tonight. I can't thank them guys enough for letting me hop along and draft along with them. MardonPC.com. Can't thank them guys enough. Anybody in the market for a new PC or anything sim racing related, please visit MardonPC.com. BK Motorsports, my guys, Andrew Shartner, Brian Haynes, Joe Gwalt. Those guys, we run hard every week together in the other league. So, and you guys, for broadcasting, appreciate your guys' time, and yeah, that's really all I have.
All right, well, congrats once again on the big win here at Talladega.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, Adam, we have our chase drivers, and I'm surprised here. So, of course, in the wild card spot with 3 wins is Carl Felver, and the driver that didn't even race tonight, Zach Probst, takes a chase spot in 7th place, is where he'll be seated. Dalton Kelly, Justin Arand, Alexander Kerfan, Michael Krueger, Cameron Caldwell, and Alonso Chicano in reverse order of the seedings. So that means Alonso Chicano, he won the regular season championship. So let's go ahead and interview Alonso Chicano, which, Adam, I believe that you've got him.
Yeah, Alonso, down to the wire pretty much in the regular season championship. You beat Cameron and Michael for that top spot. What was it like out there tonight? Pretty chaotic finish.
Yeah, it was it felt long just because it was not really much going on for the majority of the race, but the action picked up really quickly in the last few laps. I felt like I was just really in a bad position, kind of like heading into the last 4 or 5 laps, just in the tail end of our Radius Vortex group, and didn't really have many places to go. So with all the action going on around, I figured just go up to the wall and try to push Duran to try to get him the win. But unfortunately, just once he was able to get down there, I didn't have much help behind me, so I once again got stuck in a bad position. I just had nowhere to go in the wreck, but yeah, just super excited to be leading the points heading into the chase. Hopefully things go smoothly and we can get some good finishes with these last few races and walk away with a championship at the end of the season. But it's been a really fun season so far. Been fun racing my teammates and also racing against like Krueger as well throughout the season.
Yeah, of course, and you three have gone at it almost all season for that regular season title. How has your season been? Of course, you got the win really early at Chicagoland and 11 top 10s this year. How are you feeling heading into the postseason?
I'm feeling pretty good. We've had really good runs, really good strong runs. We've won a lot of stages, but lately I feel like we haven't had really all the finishes that I've deserved. I feel like um, it would have been nice to have a few more wins, but still have some opportunities to do that here with the last few races. Feel like we can just continue to build on this momentum and continue to win stages and continue to contend for wins.
All right, well, congrats on the regular season title. Who do you like to shout out for a great season thus far?
Well, I'd like to thank all my supporters and all my sponsors, Grid Network, In the Pits News, Radius Racing, Celsius, C2 Graphics, everyone who has just helped me out throughout the season, all my teammates at Radius and Vortex. I'd like to thank everyone who has watched me race throughout the season and supported me that way. I'd like to thank JCTV for, letting us show what we do to our friends and family. So thank you guys as well. It's been really fun so far. Hopefully we can just finish strong.
All right, congrats again, and we'll talk to you next week at Bristol.
Thank you.
And that was Alonso Chicano, our regular season champion. Let's see who else we can get.
Oh, Josh, real quick, you mentioned that Dalton Kelly made that made the chase. He was the sixth driver in with points who made the chase, and Zach Probst did make it. He tied with Brett Bennett on points to get that seventh and final position. So Brett Bennett, who hung around at the back last couple laps, was tied. He was one spot away from making it in. Just one thing went different in that crash. He would have made it.
Yeah, absolutely, and very unfortunate for Brett Bennett, but I give him props. I said he has to stay in it. He needs to keep his head in the game, and he did. He continued to run in the on the lead lap as well, and he did a great job. Just one spot short is what did it. Let's go ahead and we will interview Brett, but I do want to talk to Dalton Kelly. Hey Dalton, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, you are in the chase. You are the 6th seed. So now that Talladega is over, you got that not to worry about anymore. So we turn our focus onto the chase. So what is the mindset going in now that, it's no worry about making the chase. You've made it. Now it's going for a championship.
Yeah, it's just looking at the first 3 being essentially short tracks. I've ran good on short tracks, so I think we got a shot. We'll see where we're at after Phoenix and Martinsville.
Tonight, the race was very wild. You did lead a lap very early. I think it was on lap 3 or 4 to collect a bonus point for leading a lap. You dropped to the back, and then it was just kind of a bunch of strategy from there as to where you were at in position. What was the overall race like for you, and did the strategy go really to according to plan?
As far as just surviving, it went great. It turned into a fuel mileage race, which we were able to hit our number on both ends of that. And just survive the last lap wreck, since it was pretty calm throughout that, and came with a great top 5 and solid momentum to build into the chase.
All right. Well, is there any shout out you'd like to give? Who gets it done for you to, make it into the chase?
Joseph Strigley, Circle B Diecast, as well as everyone on the team, especially Andrew. He's helping this season get to where I'm at.
Alrighty, well, congrats on making the chase, and see you next week.
Looking forward to it.
That was Dalton Kelly, driver number 45. On the other hand, we just heard from a driver that did make the chase. We go to a driver that didn't make the chase and came up just shy of that. Hey, Brett, it's Josh. You just missed the chase. You were involved in an accident. The only caution of the night for incident. But you kept your head in the game, and you tied Probst for points to finish out the regular season. So, what's the emotions like for you right now?
Just frustrating. I mean, I had nothing at the end because the damage I got I literally was just trying to stay out of the way. Like, I wanted to be up front so I could be interested for stage points, but I was also just kind of trying to take it easy. And I tried to give the guy behind me, I saw him have a run coming, and I tried to give him room to take it blue line if he wanted to be outside. And I don't know if he misjudged it or what, but he just hit me and turned me head on outside the wall. I got lucky with the iRacing damage model that I didn't DNF him on the spot, because it should have been a blown engine. But, like, it's just frustrating because, like, there's literally nothing I could have done differently there. Like, and then the dude blames me in the voice chat, so, oh well. It happens, but, yeah. I also blame Dalton for telling me the wrong number, but he is the wrong number. It's not a big deal. I thought I needed 16th, not 14th with the lap right. I was slightly off on that. But yeah, it happens.
Tough break. Of course, not making the chase, but the good news is it doesn't mean that you are done racing. You can still race throughout the chase. So Is that going to change strategy a little bit for you to go forward? You know, you don't have to worry about a championship, so try different kinds of strategies to collect as many race wins as you possibly can throughout the next 4 races.
Yeah, that'll probably be the plan. I might end up missing a race or two now because I'm probably vacation for the 4th, and if I was in the playoffs, I'd make sure to take all my stuff with. But we'll see. I probably still will, but I might not just because no longer have as much of a reason to for sure run if I'm not battling for the championship, especially when I get my grandparents for the 4th. But yeah, it's we'll go out and we'll try to win races, and more importantly, do everything we can to try to get the team championship for us because we're still in the fight for that. Which that'd be awesome for us. Congrats to Dalton, by the way, for making it. And he did everything he needed to do. I thought I did everything I needed to do, and then was 0.006 short of being ahead of Richmond for that one more spot I needed. And I full throttled it through the line and slammed into somebody past the start-finish line. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, nothing you do, move on, I guess.
All right, is there any shout-outs you'd like to give? Who gets it done for you?
I got to thank Dawson always for designing my paints, and also just everybody else on SBLD. Dalton, Andrew, and Tyler were awesome today. Tyler was an awesome teammate today. He rode behind me, making sure I'd get that extra point at the end, which ended up not working out. But instead of going through himself, he helped me out, which that was a really awesome thing for him to do. And then got to thank my sponsor, Joe Strigley. It's Strigley Stats. Yeah, and then that's probably it. And then obviously Danny Dawson. I think I already mentioned him. But, and then Dalton, Brian, Toasty, Danny, Jeffrey, Oscar, all of us, Bilby.
Alrighty. Well, unfortunate for Brett Bennett, he did not make the chase, but he still has some race wins to go for. Well, Adam, for the drivers that didn't make the chase, of course, they could still continue to race. So that is good news for them. We do look forward to our chase schedule. And you see Bristol is the first race of the chase. So what do you think is going to come out of Bristol, Adam?
Bristol last season was a really, really crazy race. We had very few trucks, but we had a lot of cautions, a lot of carnage, and I think we're going to see that trend continue. Very similar bank track to Nashville, similar type of length of the track, Nashville Fairgrounds, which we raced in about a month or so ago, and saw a lot of crashes there, and believe it's going to continue the trend next week at Bristol.
And as you see there, our playoff schedule, or rather chase schedule, is Bristol, Phoenix, Martinsville, and Kansas. And, this is not a playoffs. This is a chase. So think about the old format for NASCAR. It's just 4 straight races to determine a champion. Nobody is getting eliminated. So the 8 drivers that are in it are the 8 drivers that are going to continue all the way through it. Lastly, as promised, we're going to look back at and actually, before we do that, we have one more interview that we're going to take on. And Adam, let's go ahead and have you dial him up. Andrew Elias.
Yeah, Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do now. Sorry about that.
Well, unfortunately, you didn't qualify. You had one of the best trucks tonight, probably led the most laps. We saw you out front for the majority of the night. and even when you were a lap down, you were out in front of the field. Ultimately, what happened to put you down a lap, and can you walk us through tonight's race from your point of view?
I just wanted that bonus point for leading the most laps, and then I had already made my bed on not being able to make it on fuel pretty early, and everybody else saved, so I was just hoping for a caution late. That was my only chance. So the caution didn't come out, and there wasn't my chance, huh?
Unfortunately, indeed, and that's what it looked like. It was very confusing for Josh and I when we saw you gap that huge lead, but we figured eventually that's what might have happened, and it's very unfortunate. But notice you apologized to Carl after the race, and he didn't find anything wrong with it, with you blocking him the last couple laps, and then you put out of the way once you ultimately realized no caution was going to come out. Can you kind of explain that, of course?
Yeah, when it got to like 3 or 4 to go, I was like, well, I don't think a caution's gonna come out. I don't want to play into who wins this race as like a lap down car, you know.
Yeah,
So
of
like,
course.
if I did mess up Carl, I felt really bad if I did mess up his race.
Well, like he
But
said in the chat, he didn't find anything wrong with it from what I read. And lastly, well, real quick, I should say, well, what do you have left this season? Of course, you've been strong all year, and unfortunately, you just missed out. You're going to contest the remaining 4 rounds we have this year?
yeah, why not? I'll just go and try and finish as high as I can. Stay ahead of the other guys. Maybe. Gosh, I'd have to look at the schedule. But what do we have next, Adam?
Be Bristol next week.
Bristol, Phoenix, Martinsville. I think honestly my best shot would be Kansas, but there's gonna be guys going for the championship there, so we'll see how it goes.
Who'd you like to thank and shout out after unfortunate end to your season tonight?
Yeah, just everybody. Everybody raced really clean, and it was just it was a fun time. I mean, that's what the league is about, just having a good time. But I did get to have my truck out front for a few laps, so hopefully I got some good TV time with you guys.
Oh, absolutely, you did, Andrew. And sorry it ended this way, but hopefully we have good luck rest of the season.
All right, and which race is Josh having to race now?
I'm not racing any race to finish off this season.
Can we make a change to that? Because I mean, I'd really like to make a wager.
Well, I'm not sure about that. We definitely have to see. I know for Martinsville, I am not even going to be available to even be in a booth. So,
I don't know. He sounds kind of scared, right, Adam? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. He's just like, I know I'll get beat anyways.
I think he just wants to stay in the booth.
He sounds pretty scared to me.
Well, if I were to do another race, I personally don't want to ruin any guys that are in the chase, their race. But I definitely wouldn't do Kansas because that's the season finale. I can't do Martinsville because I'm not even going to be in the state of Michigan where I live. Hopefully, I will be at a baseball game. I don't want me to race at Bristol. So that would really leave Phoenix. And I don't know. I really don't know.
You know what? Phoenix is probably like my worst track of the ones remaining. So, I mean, I'll give you that one.
Oh, who knows? Maybe something happens.
I'm just trying to say, Adam, like, the broadcasters should get out on the track. It would give them a better perspective.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see, Andrew. But yeah, unfortunately, you didn't make the chase. But I have to say, you had a great effort out there, and it was pretty awesome seeing you run up front.
Yeah, and thanks for doing the broadcast, Adam and Josh. Those are always fun to watch.
Well, that was Andrew Elias, driver of the number 44 truck. Fortunately, not making the chase, but I have to say, Adam, Andrew did just an amazing job at putting his truck out there in the best position possible to try to make the chase. And I have to say, if I were to grade his performance, other than the fact that he didn't make it the chase, I would give him an A+.
Absolutely, Josh. I agree. He did a phenomenal job trying to make it. He put his name up there when we didn't really think he would. Come out of nowhere early on to lead, get stage points, and contest. And like I said, really early on in the race, it was game of chicken. No one wanted to be up in front because it's terrible for the fuel mileage, and he paid the price for it. And we saw him pit by himself and pretty much made his bed, like he said, when he had that huge lead, and no one was really going full throttle. Everyone was saving behind Krueger.
All right, that does it from Talladega. We look forward to Bristol next week, but before we go, as promised, here is the schedule once again for 2 series. You have the In the Pits News Truck Series returning for a 3rd season and an extended schedule once again. And on the other hand, on the bottom, Formula Florid goes public. Now, Formula Florid was a private invitational league to start off their season. It's ran by Nick Dornick. He put on a great league thus far, and they are now joining as a sister league to the In the Pits News Truck Series, and going to be under the same brand. So we look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that schedule, and hopefully I'm going to get my hand on a couple of races there in that Formula Florid. The good news is it will be broadcasted. The regular season will be broadcasted by JCTV. And we do have some preseason races coming up. More information on that later. That is also going to be broadcasted. More information on that later. It will be on another channel with Dawson Allen. So that's pretty exciting as well. But yeah, here is the schedule for next season. And I'm telling you, I have my eyes on December 3rd, Michigan International Speedway. That, of course, my home track, the only place that I have made a start in the Pits News Truck Series so far. Definitely looking forward to that one. But the one thing, and I do want to point out, Adam, my favorite race on this schedule, and I was hoping that they were going to add a dirt track. I never said anything, but I was hoping they would add a dirt track. November 12th. If you look in that second row, it is the second race under Nashville Superspeedway. Eldora is there. I'm super excited for that one.
Absolutely, that should be a blast. Like you mentioned, we haven't seen a dirt race yet in this league, so whole new type of surface, and we got heat races, so a whole new type of qualifying for that race too. But Josh, the thing that catches my eye is where we're at right now, Talladega, and that returns on the schedule, of course. But Josh, it's listed twice, and it's right before the holiday break, so that's going to be one wild way. It's not the end of the regular season like it was this year, but it's the end of the calendar season, pretty much.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that's not a typo? We're having a doubleheader December 17th at Talladega?
It's going to be pretty crazy, Josh. Pretty much, I think what we're going to see is 2 races of what we saw tonight, minus that part in the middle where they ran single file saving fuel. I believe we're going to get 2 crazy finishes and 2 huge crashes at the end, if I had to guess, unfortunately.
Man, I am super excited for that, and we still have to finish this season off. And this season is definitely going to be just as exciting.
of course, and we get a nice little break in between the seasons, but a little head start on next season, like you mentioned, but business left this season.
All right, Adam, that's going to do it from us here at Talladega. It's just one last time. Final thoughts on tonight, Adam.
Like everyone pretty much said in their post-race interviews, impressed with everyone making it to 3 wide for the last 5 laps pretty much, until the tryover when all hell broke loose. But we pretty much expected that once we realized these 23 guys or so left out on the track. They were just going to ride out and just let the laps tick down, and that's what happened.
On behalf of everybody that makes this league possible, the admins Alonso Chicano, Cameron Caldwell, all the drivers, fans, Adam Kuhn, my right-hand man, I'm Josh Coppernell. Thank you for tuning in to an exciting race here at Talladega. We look forward to Bristol next week. Take care and stay safe.